Welcome back to the Ponca City Monthly Podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and this week is very special. We're talking rodeo. It's going to be an exciting week. We've got lots of stuff going on, but right now we've got Sadie Fry and Hank Hangzinger, and they're from the rodeo, and they're going to be in to tell us some stuff about the rodeo. How are you all doing today?
We're great. Happy to be here.
We're having a blast. We're tickled to talk rodeo.
Awesome. I love talking to people from the community, and I'm so excited to find out about the rodeo because I am new in town. So I haven't actually experienced the rodeo. I've driven by and seen the crowds, but I've never gotten out of my car.
Well, you're going to have to get out of your car one of these days because it's the greatest show on dirt.
Yes, it is.
It's the greatest show on dirt.
Fantastic. Well, tell me, Hank, how did you first get into the rodeo world?
I was kind of born into it. My dad, he was a rodeo contestant a long time ago and was a roper, and I've been a farmer and rancher and just kind of grew up in it and just kind of started there and always been here in Ponca City all my life. And I got involved with the rodeo at a very young age and just wanted to see the rodeo grow and competed here back in the day. And I've been doing it for about a little over 30 years, helping with the Ponca City Rodeo, and seen a lot of people come and go that's been here in town. Brad Beatty, he was one of our old committee members. Bill Coleman, Senator Bill Coleman, he was one of our old committee members. And it goes further back. We had Guy Clark that was a lawyer that had just passed away. That was one of our old board members. But yeah, we've done a lot with the rodeo, and we're trying to do more. That's our goal, to be bigger and better every year.
Nice. So I caught that you said you participated. What was your?
I was a roper. I roped calves and out here, and in fact, I was a victor one year, and my dad was also the victor one year.
The very first one.
Yeah, the very first one. But yeah, I mean, I don't like to boast on myself, but I enjoyed.
It's okay. Let him have it.
I enjoyed going to rodeo, and I enjoy it. So nice. There it is.
You're the one in the seat, so you can brag all you want.
So,
Sadie, how did you get involved with it?
Well, pretty much copy and paste the exact same story as my dad, Hank. So my grandpa rodeoed. He was the very first winner of the calf roping in 1959. And then my dad roped calves. And it used to be in August, which my birthday is in August. So my first 101 rodeo, I was like 3 days old.
Yeah.
2 days old because my dad was roping in it. And so that was and now I turned 28 this year. So I've only missed one, and it's because I was in Washington, D.C. So I got onto the board 2019, which I've been going to meetings since I think I was old enough to drive and knew that they were on Wednesday nights. They couldn't keep me away. So I guess a legacy. I've been here forever.
Very cool. That is an awesome. I like that you both have that. It's father-daughter kind of got into this, and you're going through that. That's very exciting. How long has the rodeo been going on?
This will be our 66th annual.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole event. I mean, you got the parade, you've got the rodeo. There's a lot going on. So
if you look at it on paper, it looks like a lot more than a rodeo because we start Thursday morning with slack, which is everybody that has signed up for the rodeo because we only take so many the night of the performance. So everybody else still has to compete. And then Thursday night's performance 1. Friday morning, we host a golf tournament at Wentz Golf Course. And then Friday night's the performance and then a concert. And then Saturday morning, we have the parade and a PRCA steer roping. Saturday night we have a performance, and then Saturday night we have another concert. So I mean, it's packed.
Nice. So just for my clarification, when you say performance, that's the show. That's the rodeo.
That's our show.
That's
our show. Yeah, and our show, the gates will open at 6, and the rodeo starts a little before 8, and usually about a 2-hour show, 2-hour performance. The concert will start right thereafter, and she was talking about the slack. Just to elaborate on that just a little bit, there'll be 500 plus extra people that comes into town from all over the country. I mean, from
Canada,
of course,
Australia,
Texas,
Hawaii.
Australia. We had also Hawaiians. We have, there's 500 visitors that come to Ponca City to come to participate in this rodeo, and we can only have about 10 a night in the performance, or we would be there all evening long. So we have an overflow, which is called a slack, which is a Thursday morning, and but that's where a lot of guys will be in that slack. But like I said, there's 500 plus extra visitors that comes to our nice little community that we open our arms to and welcome with our arms open.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, our deal starts, as soon as the rodeo's over with this year on Sunday morning, we're talking about the rodeo next year.
Absolutely.
It's a labor of love with all of us that has to put it on, and it takes a year of planning, and there's no downtime for us.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody's ever messed with trying to hire bands and and all of that, but it's a project. It's a project.
So tell me a little bit about. So there's 500 rodeo contestants. Thank you. And out of that 500, not all of them are going to get to, like you said, perform or show.
All of them will get to perform, but some of them will be Thursday morning, and
Okay.
some of them will be Friday night, some of them will be Saturday night, some of them will be Thursday night, some of them will be Saturday morning. So, everybody will get their chance to perform, but it's just the PRCA Rodeo is the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, is set up in Colorado Springs as our corporate headquarters. And the way those guys will enter, they decide to come to our rodeo, they will enter online, and then there's a computer random draw thing that will tell them to say, well, you need to be in Ponca City on Friday night at 8 o'clock, and you will have your chance to perform and do your business, or you need to be in Vernon, Texas on that Friday, So, they're kind of told where to go when they decide that they want to come to our rodeo. They may want to come on Saturday night, but the computer may tell them, say, nope, you got to go on Friday night. So there's a whole different ball of wax, but you never know who you're going to get.
Sure.
Until that night.
Yeah. So before we actually started the podcast, we were talking a little bit about how you get cowboys and cowgirls to come to these rodeos. Would you tell me a little bit about how you attract people to come to Ponca City to compete?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing is added money, and that elaborates into a whole beast itself. Every cowboy and cowgirl in the PRCA is trying to make it to the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas every December. So that is like the Super Bowl of rodeo. That's what everybody's trying to get to. And to get there, you have to win money throughout the year at rodeos that are put on just like we put on here in Ponca City. So every rodeo is trying to do its best to appease the contestant to be able to make them hopefully make it to the NFR. So we add this year $6,000, which we've tried to up every year how much we add to the money for the contestants to win.
In each event.
In each event. So
there's 10 events.
Yep. So we add $6,000 in each event. So each winner of each event would win the barrel racer, the calf roper, the steer wrestler. Wow. That's how much they would win if they were to win Ponca City. And so we do that, but then we also have hospitality tents. We also have free showers. We offer a lot of extra amenities to the contestants to try to get them to Ponca City. But it's basically just, we want contestants to want to come to us, if that makes sense. Right. So it's not just like we're a stop on their list every year, because there's hundreds of rodeos throughout the summer run, and we have to make ourselves be a stop on that map. And we're really proud of the job that we've done, especially in the last 10 years, becoming one of those spots that people want to come back to.
And I think what was interesting, that I'm not in the rodeo world, so I didn't know this, but the money that you win is what determines how farther you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she mentioned, the national finals, it's a $2 million deal in Las Vegas for 10 nights in a row, sold out, 25,000 people a night. I mean, it takes over Las Vegas, and in the first week in December, and in the events, you've got the 10 events, and to make it to the NFR, you need to win probably over 100,000 in each one of them events, and they take 15 guys. And so at our rodeo, if you could come and win 5,000 here, you are 1/5 of the way there. So that's what. I don't know if that was 5,000, 100,000.
I'm not a math
I'm not a math man. But anyway,
it sounded really good.
But
it sounded really good.
It's I mean, it'd be better than any money won. But like I said, we're trying to make it a want to stop for the contestants, and like Sadie elaborated on, we do things with the Cowboy Corner. We got the hospitality tents. We do free dinner at night. The guys in the slack, we have breakfast for them. The slack will start at 8:00 in the morning, and they'll have sausage and eggs there. And we try to appease and do as much as we can to make them want to come to Ponca City, because Ponca City, we want them.
Yeah.
You take 500 guys with 85% of them's got a truck and a trailer, and a truck is, $100,000 truck and $200,000 trailer, and the horse in there, horses are super high, 100,000, 200,000, and so I mean they take care of their stuff, and they like nice things, and we like to give them nice things. That's why we like them in Ponca.
Yeah. And one of the things you were telling me off camera was that it's also the people that handle your animals that determine, like, because you have an award-winning animal handler.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Stock contractor. You're really close. Yeah.
I think of like lions and tigers.
Yeah. So a huge thing that we definitely talk about, that we love to talk about on our social medias and things, is we love to brag about the people that we bring to Ponca City for the fans that buy the tickets to come to the rodeo. So anytime you see a horse bucking or a bull, or if you see those people that are pulling the gates, those are people that we have coming in. Garrett Yerrigan, who's on the microphone, he is the 2-time PRCA Announcer of the Year, which is a huge deal. I mean, that's only one person wins every single year, and he's won it twice, and he's 29 years old. So, I mean, wow. He's phenomenal. Justin Rumford from right here in Ponca City, he's like the
10 times
100-time Clown of the Year or whatever. We have him coming back this year. Benji Bindele, he's the one who plays all of the music. So anytime somebody misses a calf and you hear dun dun dun, that's Benji. He's working on that. He's the 22-time music director at the NFR, which we've just been talking about. We have 2 of the best bullfighters in the business, which one is actually hurt this year, but he is still going to come, and he's going to hang out at Ponca City because he's really excited about it. Cody Emerson and Nathan Harp. Nathan's hurt. But we have a new guy coming in, Travis, that we're really excited. We hope he loves Ponca City as much as the other 2 do. Sammy Andrews, that's who you were just talking about, our animal handler, our stock contractor. He just last year was put into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame up in Colorado Springs, which the 101 Rodeo, we actually went as a committee to show our support to him, because rodeo's family at the end of the day. I mean, that's kind of that's the baseline of most of the stuff we do. And so we went up there and watched Sammy get inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, which only 2 or 3 people get that every year too. So that's huge. But yeah, that's a huge part of getting contestants here, is having that kind of caliber of livestock and contract personnel and people that the Cowboys want to work with. It's really great for the fans that we can put on such a show, but it's also really great behind the scenes for the contestants too.
Yeah, because I think that's, like I said, for me, just being able to drive by, I know the rodeo is an amazing thing, but to get into the nitty gritty and see how amazing you guys have made this for our local community is what's really special about it.
I tell you what, it is really a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal. There's nothing that promotes Ponca City more than the rodeo does. I mean, all of our logos, all of our ads, all of our things, has got Ponca City behind it, either printed or spoke. but and that goes real deep. Sadie was talking about our stock contractor. He's the guy that raised the bull and made the bull famous, called Bodacious. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but I'm sure you have. But he, every time they talk about him going to the rodeos and stuff, he said, well, I've been to Ponca City or we got to go to Ponca City. It comes up in general conversation a lot among the Western world, the town of Ponca City.
And not just because of the rodeo, but because of Turtle's Donut Shop and Stores on Grand and all these people that we're talking about, they have wives and kids and they have family that travel with them to these rodeos, that when they come, they're like, okay, well, we have to go to Turtles and we have to go to Head Country and we have to go to, and they have stops on their list because they know that when they come to Ponca City, it's not just, they don't just have to sit in their trailer at the rodeo grounds. They're out in the community. Yeah. So that's also a big thing, that we're really proud to be from Ponca City and have these connections with our town, that we're not just in our own little bubble.
Yeah, definitely so. So in the 30 years that you've been with it, how has the rodeo changed?
How has it evolved?
Yeah.
It's evolved from a really good rodeo back in the day. This has been a very good rodeo for a long, long time. Our goal right now as a group, and it'll keep it going on, but our goal is to evolve it into just trying to do bigger and better things every year from years to come. The city of Ponca with the bleachers a couple of years ago, that was huge. That sent us into a different level. The lighting, we have new lights this year for the arena, and it's supposed to be able to read a newspaper anywhere you want to out there.
Nice.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But we're ready to step it up to the next level, and we got great sponsors to help us do that. We've got.
Kind of to elaborate on what he's saying. Ponca City helped us build these new bleachers, these new aluminum bleachers. Our sponsors, like he's getting into, sponsors like HRI, they help build brand new ticket booths and a new building for our contestants' hospitality. The new lights, that's something that we just had done. We put a new fence around the exterior of the arena. We've upgraded our pens for stock contractors and things. We've had, when we built the bleachers, they put in handicap accessible parking spaces and sidewalks. We've laid gravel down for our vendors, our local vendors that come in and set up throughout the weekend, that they have. We've added electric plugs. There's a lot of things that are just the things that you don't seem to notice are things that you have to take into account all year long. And those are things that we've kind of tried to build on top of making it a bigger event, and not just a really good rodeo, but a really good event for Ponca City, are kind of those little things. And those are the things that we hope people kind of appreciate and notice, that, oh, well, it wasn't super muddy at Ponca this year. We could walk on some gravel, or, it wasn't too hard to talk to the ticket lady because I didn't have to look down through a little wire window. I could just talk to her through a window. Things like that seem really small, I think are really making a difference for us. Yeah.
And I think that, like you were saying, lights and stuff like that you just don't think about as a spectator, but when you come and you get to experience the whole show and you see it all come together, that's when it makes all that little tiny things come together.
Makes it all come together, and like I said, we're trying to sell an experience. We really want everybody to have a great experience and see things that, you don't see every day, the Western style of life, is alive and well. And we want to elaborate that, but like I said, we couldn't do it without the town, without the city people, without the people of the city. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. Century Products, they're a national sponsor for the PRCA. Oh, they're one of our sponsors, yes. And so they're really involved with the PRCA. And, of course, we are, a PRCA approved rodeo. So that's a big deal. We've got a national sponsor right here in town. And
some of our local sponsors that are phenomenal, that, every single sponsor that we have, whether it's a $50 business card in the program or 15,000 national sponsor or 50,000 or any money that you give is you can bet that it went straight towards the rodeo in a good way. I mentioned HRI earlier. They do things like the ticket booths, and they're an incredible sponsor. Century Products, Phillips 66 is involved this year, which is kind of funny because it's our 66th annual. So that was a nice play on words. Seven Clans Casino, they do a lot of sponsors for our band and our concerts. Studeville, they sponsor the stage for our band. Greenwood Aerospace, they do a lot of stuff. They bring you our 8-Second Club, which is kind of the VIP experience. They make sure that is phenomenal for everybody that's in the VIP experience. Evans and Associates, there are Shoot Heaven sponsors this year, which anybody that sits in Shoot Heaven never wants to sit anywhere else. So that's a pretty good grab for them. But I mean, our local sponsors, we're just going to keep beating a dead horse about how amazing our community is. But I mean, we have such great support here in Ponca City.
It's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
And we want more.
We'll take everybody.
We'll take all we can get.
The merchant contest.
What is that?
The merchant roundup. So the merchant roundup is something that we started, that we brought to Ponca City, that anybody who wants to sign-ups are open now. You just need to send us an email and say, my business is partaking. That's all you have to do. And we usually pick a judge, and it's usually one of a stock contractor or an announcer. It's somebody that we bring in, and then it's also a local person. So it's somebody who's been on the rodeo committee before, somebody who's a mayor, we usually pick a local, somebody who's out and around, and judging lasts from the week before the rodeo to the week of the rodeo. And it's just whatever business has the most rodeo spirit. So whether that's letting your employees wear boots to work, or whether that's painting the windows, or a balloon display, or Merrick's won last year, and she actually did a race up and down Grand on a horse. And things like that we started a few years ago, and we have got compliments literally nationwide about how we promoted that on our social medias, to how we got the community to rally behind us rodeo week and make it where when somebody drove into Ponca City, they knew that there was a rodeo going on somewhere, because every business had, ropes on the window or a bale of hay out front. So that was something that we started that we're really liking.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what you were saying, that, the 500 people are just the people who are going to be active.
Just the contestants. But there's, we'll run about, our goal is to run about 18,000 through the three nights of the gates.
Nice.
And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of folks.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of folks. And, we'll always take more. And we want every one of those people to leave, with a smile and say they had a good time, So, but you put the 500 with the 18,000 and with all the, well, let's go eat before we get there, or let's wait and eat. We at the rodeo we have vendors that I think we have 8 or 9 different food trucks from around the country. I mean, we get funnel cakes in June. I mean, who gets funnel cakes in June and not at a fair in August when it's hot? There's funnel cakes. There's all kinds of good stuff. That you can go get into at the rodeo or on the rodeo grounds.
Yeah.
But they, you figure all that in as, tourist impact dollars, I mean, the numbers got to be huge.
Yeah, definitely.
The numbers got to be huge.
Every month we start each month's podcast with Kelsey and I kind of just sitting down and going over the magazine and talking about different things. And obviously she has a big heart for the rodeo because of what it does for our community. But yeah, I think that we were talking like 17,000 was last year or in that ballpark. But I mean, that's just people coming in to our city and getting to experience our city. And we have lots of fun things for them to do while they're here. Like you said, having the businesses downtown kind of participate and be a part of that just brings all of that energy throughout the whole city.
We would like to see the city go cowboy for a week.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the city go cowboy for a week. I wouldn't care if it went cowboy for 2 weeks, a week before and a week after. But I mean, it's little things that we do, like the merchants thing on Grand, the flags
that are already out.
They're already out on Grand. That's great. I mean, we'd like to see the town go cowboy for sure enough a week, and I mean everybody can keep playing cowboy as long as they want.
I know, kind of jumping around, but one of the things that's special about this is it's the 101 Ranch Rodeo, and that has the history of the 101 Ranch. Do you know how it evolved from that into the rodeo that it is today?
Yeah. How much time do we have? No. Obviously, that was a huge thing. They had crowds of 60,000 coming to what is now Ponca City to show them basically somebody roping a calf. I mean, they knew what people wanted to watch, and I don't think that it's changed much today. It's evolved, but I mean, they knew that was something that people needed to see, and they that's where a lot of things that were started. That's something that Ponca has that a lot of rodeos don't have is Bill Pickett. He was the first person to ever wrestle a steer, and he actually did it by biting the ear, which that kind of goes into the evolution. They don't do that anymore. But the nose. I know, I'm going to be corrected. But there's a lot of history behind that. And we actually, every year, there's people that were related to the ranch, the 101 Ranch Wild West show that will message us and say, I remember coming to Ponca because my grandparents worked for this, or that they want to know where the old historical map is of the old ranch. And so 66 years ago, when we got the rights from a son of one of the original Miller brothers to use the logo, that's the logo that we use, that we put on every banner and poster and magazine ad. And so that's a right that we had to ask for and were granted to kind of, in our own way, carry on the tradition of what they were able to do. So yeah, that's something that a lot of rodeos can't say, that they have history that goes back to the 1800s or whenever. Yeah, they don't have that.
And and that's great. Our history runs so deep in Ponca City with the E.W. Marlins and the Millers with the 101 Ranch and the oil, and I mean it all comes together in a big way right here in Ponca City. The Marlin Mansion and the Grand Home. The Grand Home has a great museum for 101 Ranch stuff. Wow. I mean, it's down in the basement. I mean, it's downstairs. Great collection of 101 Ranch memorabilia, and when it first started, it went overseas. Oh wow! The show. And, there was a couple hundred people that traveled with that show. It went to England, it went to Belgium, it went, and they would carry all this stuff with them overseas. And it was a show, it was like a modern day concert, I mean, it was a show. And like Sadie said, there's 60, 70,000 people would come out to it. And, it's crazy that we're doing the same thing today where it started, with the same, putting the show on, we're putting the show on for the people. And, but it's a great deal.
When you think about the rodeo and it gets time and you're there, what is the thing that you are absolutely most looking for, can't wait for it to happen aspect of the rodeo?
Sadie goes and I'll go.
I don't know if I could pick one thing. I think I look forward to the weekend as a whole. It's such a whirlwind, and it all merges together so seamlessly that I guess I just don't see it as separate things. Sure. And so basically I'm just looking forward to June 12th through 14th. That's my answer. I'm looking forward to the second weekend in June.
That Sunday for it to be over. So.
Yeah, probably Sunday when it's over. But then we'll be there having a meeting, talking about it the next day.
Getting ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Talking about next year.
Yeah, I am really excited for Thompson Square, I guess. But I am excited for the whole weekend.
Yeah. They, I look forward to the whole aspect of the deal. For one thing, like Sadie mentioned earlier, the rodeo thing is kind of a family affair. You see a lot of folks that you hadn't seen, but you might I seen you here last year, or this and that, I mean, you just see a lot of folks and a lot of folks from out of town that I haven't seen, or, people to run into. We get people, our fan base for this rodeo has stretched, Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
I'd read you this list. I have a list of states. I'd read it, but it's really long. Yeah. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just imagine 30 states. That's in 3 countries. Yeah. So
yeah, we've had people from 3 different countries come, so I mean, it's crazy the camaraderie of getting to see folks that you hadn't seen and then be entertained also, I mean, it's a win-win all the way around.
Exciting. So we've talked about the history a lot. We've figured out how you get people here. Let's talk about the event itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a couple of days. You've got the first night is your tough pink night, right?
Yep, tough enough to wear pink. Yeah. And proceeds for that go to Project 31. We give them. That's kind of who we're honoring that night, and then we always give them a donation that night. So that's a local project, I think, out of Stillwater. Don't quote me. I believe it's out of Stillwater. But Project 31, that's kind of the organization. They'll have a tent set up that you can go by and talk and chat. They're incredible to work with.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask what's that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Friday night is, Thursday night also, let me just back up, is also Community Appreciation Night. Yeah, Community Appreciation Night.
Community Appreciation Night with a free barbecue.
With the purchase of a rodeo ticket. So we'll have a little tent set up under the arena. We have a local 4-H club from Newkirk that usually hand out all the sandwiches. And then if you purchase a ticket, you get a free meal that night. So, and kids get in free. 8 and under get in free on Community Appreciation Night, also on Thursday. And then Friday night is First Responders Night. So we always do a really cool little pre-show where we bring out some of the first responders into the arena, let everybody kind of have a minute to recognize the first responders. So we have ambulance, fire trucks, we have things come into the arena and they get to step out and kind of know that they're a part of it for the night. And then Saturday night is Military Appreciation Night, which actually last year, Governor Kevin Stitt did a proclamation proclaiming Saturday night of the 101 official Military Appreciation Night. So we have a proclamation for that, which is really cool because he really loves our rodeo. So that's really special.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the First Responders Night, I can't stress enough about how good they do, and I don't know about anybody else, but first responders are, your policemen, your ambulance guys. I mean, it's everybody though. I mean, it's when somebody stops and then you need some help, he's a first responder, I mean, it's just, thank you. Try to be a big thank you to all of them and anybody else that ever stops and tries to help somebody in need. I mean, everybody knows who they are. Yeah. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some of the music that's going to be coming? Because you talked about Seven Clans, and they're kind of the music sponsor, right? Or
So it's kind of brought to you by Seven Clans. They're a pretty big sponsor for our concerts. Our concerts are a really big deal. I kind of wish we could do a whole other podcast on just our concerts because that's something that we've held pretty near and dear to our hearts, as in trying to get really great people to come to Ponca City to get people to come to the concert. So this year we have Dax Perrier, who's from Pawhuska, Oklahoma. He's great. He's phenomenal. He came to the rodeo a few years ago, had a huge crowd. That's why he's coming back this year. Friday night we have Thompson Square, which is huge. I'm really excited for that. Pat Green. And then Saturday night is Pat Green. You can talk about Pat Green. You're probably a little more in his age demographic than I am.
Well, I don't. Why did you throw that to me?
I thought you might want to do your rendition of Wave on Wave.
Oh, Wave on Wave. Yeah, that's a good song. Yeah, that's a good song.
No, our concerts are really big this year, and they're all going to be concerts. They're not just going to be a free dance. It's not. That's what we did for years and years and years, was a free dance after the rodeo. So now you have to have a different ticket for the concert, but it's because it's a concert. It's not just a little, go to the stage, and it's a concert. It's it's the caliber that you would get if you were to go to a bigger venue. So that's something we're really proud of, the people that we're getting to come to Ponca City this year.
And that was something that you mentioned earlier, was that you are hoping to just continue to grow that.
Absolutely. That's our goal, is just keep growing the whole thing, you know. And like I said, we want to sell someone an experience. You know, we want to sell them, you know, a good Western way of entertainment and experience, and then top the night off with some good entertainment, you know, some good music to listen to. And you know, it's like I said, we strive to try to make ourselves bigger and better the next year. You know, we start the Sunday after, and but I feel like we've been accomplishing that the last few years, and that's our goal, to just try to keep getting better and better, and keep bringing things to Ponca City. I mean, that's the whole goal. You know, we keep Ponca City on the map. You know, so
yeah. And bigger and bigger rodeos are definitely a way to do that.
I'm telling you.
Let's talk about parking, because you talked about there's parking and you've got new gravel, or how does that work?
So we have something that's kind of changed with the parking is, Colton Pease, I'm going to put it all on him. He has done a phenomenal job marking parking, which anybody who's been to the one-on-one Wild West Rodeo in the last 10 years knows that parking has maybe been a cluster. So we have really taken a lot of pride in the last 3 years that we have made parking easy.
Nice.
And that's weird. That's another thing, that it seems really small, but when you have 18,000 people, you know, coming through your gates over 3 nights, parking's important, because you not only have to park your contestants, but you have to park all your fans and your vendors, and you have to. So we've done a really good job of elevating that experience every year, just as far as putting lights out. Lights help now in the arena, that we have lights that are going to be in, kind of showing where people are parking, marking lines, signage, volunteers that are showing people where to park, and vests, things like that are upgraded.
You know, like I said, you know, we're trying to be as close to being the top of our professional game as we can.
Yeah.
And the parking thing is huge. You know, the ticket booths, you know, running people in and out of the tickets. And buy your tickets online. You won't have to wait in no lines.
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal. So get your tickets early, and you won't have to wait in any lines to get your tickets, you know. But yeah, the parking and the marking your parking is a job.
Yes.
and then having people to tell people to go park down there where he's at, you know, sometimes people don't mind.
Right. Yeah,
they say, "Oh, I'm going to shut it off right here." But no, you need to follow the parking guys, you know, do what they say, and it'll all work out great.
All right, because you never realize how important having a structured parking area is until it comes time to leave. And everybody's trying to leave at once.
And then it's like herding ants.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
yeah, so let's talk about the tickets, because this year they're available online. Now,
Yes.
Did I hear you say that you can't buy them there, or?
So in the past, we've always tried to have a few available, like at Tractor Supply, some banks and things. Well, those aren't the places that people are buying tickets in advance anymore.
Sure.
So this year, all online for advanced. So if you'd like a ticket in advance, you need to get it online. We will still have them at the ticket booths the day of the event. They're going to be a little more expensive, but we will have them at the gate. So we're pushing online, but we will have them at the gate still.
Just not as many local outlets that you can pick them up. That's the difference.
That's just how times change.
Yeah.
It's
so we also have in the magazine, we have a QR code where you can purchase your tickets straight from the ad in the magazine that gives you all of that information. So let's talk about where's the best place to sit for the rodeo. I've never been, so this year's going to be my first year. So where should
there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah, you're definitely in for a treat.
You're in for a treat. There's not a bad seat in the house. There's everybody likes the bull riding, but we've got a giant video board, a giant television that sets at one end of the arena, which will replay and all of that. So I mean, if someone nudges you and you missed it, you can turn and watch it on the big screen on the replay. But there's actually not a bad seat in the house. The closest seat in the house is of course, in shoot heaven above the buck and shoots. The 8-second club, you're about as close to it as you can get. I mean, those folks have a blast down there. I mean,
which we do have tables available for that still. So if you know somebody that wants to buy a table in the VIP in the 8-second club for a VIP experience, you get 8 tickets with that. So
what else do you get?
They do a dinner. There's drinks. There's just kind of everything's there where you don't have to like go down to the bathrooms or to go down to the concession stand. Everything is kind of comes included with your ticket.
Okay.
And most of the stuff is included. So it's not something that you have to go buy everything. It's all kind of included. There's bathrooms inside there. We put little risers up so that you can kind of sit and look over the fence into the arena. It's really cool. Nice. If I was gonna go, I'd want to sit there, but it is really cool.
But there's actually not a bad seat in the house.
No, but there is no bad seat in the house.
The bleachers are great.
New aluminum. They're not wood. Nobody's going through the bleachers. Nice. Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, the bleachers. I mean, there's actually not a bad seat in the house, and you'll see everything with the video board, the playback board. I mean, and the arena is close enough, and you're up close. I mean, everybody's close enough to the action. You can see it all.
We knew people for years and years and years that wanted to sit like on the east side in the 15th row up and to the left, and that was their spot every year. Even if they were there early or late or what people have their spots. I think that they kind of gravitate towards.
Yeah.
That that's where you like to sit. That's where you like to watch stuff from. So yeah, I think that anywhere that you're sitting is probably the best seat in the house.
Nice. That's the best.
Yeah.
So, I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but the tickets, the different events, you have to have different tickets for different events, right?
Yeah, so you have to have a ticket for basically any time you're coming through the gate. So if you come in for the rodeo, you need a ticket. If you are going through to the concert, you need a ticket to go into the concert. So anytime you're going through a gate, you're going to need a ticket. So you can buy the bundles where you would get a rodeo ticket and a concert ticket for that night. And then you would get 2 tickets for that. So you'd still need a ticket anytime you go through a gate. We have bundles where you could buy a weekend pass for rodeo and concert. You could buy just concert. You could buy just rodeo. I mean, we have anything for anybody. So if you're trying to buy...
If you wanted to go to the rodeo and not the concert, you can go to the rodeo.
You can just buy a rodeo ticket.
Or if you wanted to come to the concert, you didn't get off till 9 o'clock. You could come out and go to the concert.
Which, if you did do that, they don't start scanning tickets until 9:45, just so you kind of can't double dip. But you can do that, where you can just buy a concert ticket too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. And of course the parade is, Saturday morning is free. We have the golf tournament on Friday morning.
Yep, you can call Wentz and get registered for that now.
You can call Wentz and get registered for the golf tournament. It's a lot of fun. Lots of teams. What was there? 30 teams last year?
And they are doing this year, which I know a lot of people, not that everybody's not a professional golfer, but they are going to pay different levels this year. So that's something that if you golf, and you'd understand that, maybe if, I'm not saying you don't have a chance, Dad, if you go and golf, but this year you might. You might win the 3rd tier potentially. So
3 tiers.
Yeah, I know that they're paying different tiers this year. So that's going to be really exciting. I hope that the golfers really like that.
And then the slack on the Thursday morning is free, and the slack on the Saturday morning is also free. So,
all right,
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so you can come out and just sort of watch those guys get beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to touch on, volunteers. Do you guys need volunteers? How do you use volunteers?
So we can always have people reach out to us. Usually by this point, since today, as of filming, the rodeo is 42 days away, we usually have groups or organizations reach out to us. We can always take volunteers. Okay. There's always a way to get involved with the rodeo. The best way to reach out to us is on social media, probably Facebook, and just shoot us a message and say kind of what you want to do volunteer-wise. And then that's something that we kind of work towards all year.
Yeah.
Might not be the most glamorous thing, but that's kind of what, as a board, we don't do a lot of glamorous things. So it might be washing off banners, or it might be, repainting the buck and shoots, or you never know. But yeah, absolutely. The community's involvement is what makes this rodeo go. So absolutely.
Yeah. And like you were saying, as soon as this rodeo is over, you start planning for the next year. So If you wanted to be involved in next year, now is the time to get involved.
Yeah. if you want to start getting involved, that's like I said, for 25, now's the time to start, or for 26.
Yeah.
26, because like I said, there's been so many guys. It takes an army to put that rodeo on.
And it's really neat if you look at the army that he's talking about, the board of directors that kind of has to be at the helm of that. You've met us, father and daughter. The president now, Corey Goodnow. Our last president was Larry Goodnow, his dad. His wife is our secretary. If you see anybody putting out banners, it's probably Doc Blanton. It's him and his son Garrison. They're going to be putting the banners up. You're also going to call his wife Echo if you want to get into the parade. So many of the people on our committee are.
Oh, they're great.
They're local people that are here. I mean, if you see any florals at the rodeo, it's probably from Chandra Sheik, who's on our board, who has Waymakers Flowers. I mean, we are super, super lucky with the little board of 13 people that we have. We're all really close. You kind of can't beat it.
All of us kind of has our long suit that we lean towards and kind of do, but you couldn't do it you could take 2 or 3 of us out and you'd just be at square one. Yeah. It like I said, it takes a little army to do it. And we've got Chad Van Heusen, Wade Locke, and we've got Flip.
Yep.
Tyler
Mays.
Can't
forget Tyler Mays. He does a lot.
We've got
Travis.
Travis Whitfield.
Yep, that's who you call if you want a table. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it takes an army to do that, and everybody has their long suit of their what they're specialized in, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and I think kind of getting around to it, like no job's too small. So that's kind of where it comes in at. You may think, well, I don't have anything. I've never been to a rodeo. There's no way I could ever help. There's a lot of things that we do that aren't about rodeo.
Sure. So, somebody's got to pick up the trash.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do everything. Somebody's got to get concerts booked. Somebody's got, things that are no way about, rope and gaffs that you have to do to put a rodeo on.
Absolutely. Promoting the Western way of life.
Yeah.
You may be picking up trash.
Yeah. Exactly. We do a lot of that. Yeah.
As we're wrapping up, is there anything I didn't cover that maybe...
Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Well, we talked about I wanted to know about the history.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. We got all my stuff.
Let's see.
Believe me, I wouldn't have let you get out of here without my...
Let's see. No, I think we covered the merchant roundup. That was something that I kind of wanted to touch on. And if anybody doesn't have their business signed up yet, reach out to us and let us know, because it's so informal. Literally, you just have to say, My Media Matters is participating. And if you draw a horse on your window, that's you participating in making your business rodeo. We're doing the mutton busting again. That's brought to you by Diamond Directional Drilling and the Northern Oklahoma Youth Ranch Rodeo Association. They put that on. So they do have signups for that are going to open, I think, May 22nd. Watch our Facebook. They're only taking 10 per night. So that's something that filled up really quick last year. I know that Ponca City is doing the retail roundup the morning of the parade, but I'm sure that's something that you guys will advertise, because I've already seen it on email blasts and everything.
Yes.
But that's something really special and really cool that Ponca City is trying to get behind the rodeo and put something else on during rodeo week. If you want to get into the parade, like I said, call Echo Blanton down at Blanton Chiropractic, and she will get you a spot in the parade, which that is a parade that has grown immensely over the last, I'll say, 5 years. It's gotten a lot bigger. So that's a really neat event to be at. The
only thing I'd like to add is, we couldn't do it without our sponsors, you know, and we're bringing, like Sadie mentioned, Garrett Yergin, 2-time announcer of the year, Sammy Andrews, Hall of Fame stock contractor, Justin Rumford, man in the can 10 times in a row, local guy, Benny Bensley, 22 times the music director of the year. We couldn't do all of this to bring the top tier. We are bringing the top tier of the rodeo world to our town. And we couldn't do it without our sponsors, HRI, Century, Phillips,
Evans and Associates,
and Greenwood.
Everybody else, Wayne Ray Mitchell, everybody else, all the little places that I hope that's, if anybody that listens to this podcast, I hope that's what they take home more than anything, is how much the rodeo is thankful that we're in Ponca City. Because obviously us sitting here in this chair didn't get to make that decision 66 years ago, but we're getting to reap the benefits now that this is an event that is here in Ponca City. So I hope that that's something that the community realizes, that we're doing this for them as much as they're doing for us by supporting us and by buying a rodeo ticket or by going to the golf tournament or the parade or anything that they do, that the concert, I mean, anything that they do that's supporting us, we're trying to turn around and support Ponca City. So I hope that that's kind of the theme that we maybe drove home, is that we're just as proud to be from Ponca City as I hope Ponca City is to have us here.
Yeah, because I think like we were talking about, this is such a big tourism thing that pulls people into town, and it's events like this that keep our town sustainable and keep our town moving forward. Is stuff like this that brings lots of new people into our town and get to experience it for the first time. So I think that's
make Ponca City cowboy again.
Absolutely. Definitely so.
If nothing else, let's do it for a week.
Absolutely. Now, is it like, if I come to the rodeo, do I have to wear a cowboy hat and all of that?
You can come as however you want to come when you go see.
No, you don't need
Thompson
to wear one.
Square.
You can buy one when you get there from one of our local vendors.
Hey, and that's
Perfect.
And that's something else. That's something else I'm going to. We got merch.
Yeah,
we've got great ball caps.
That's true. You can buy a rodeo ball cap.
We've got T-shirts.
Better.
We've got T-shirts. We've got ball caps. And when you wear that stuff around, people will know where you're at. I mean, we come without a hat and buy one and wear one home. There you go.
Perfect. That will be a great night.
Yeah, come find us. I bet we can hook you up.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for telling me all about the rodeo and the history. I'm really excited about it. Rodeo is in, I think, 2 weeks is from today.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. It's either a week or two from today. It's the 12th and the 13th and the
Father's Day weekend.
Father's Day weekend.
Second weekend in June. Yep, Father's Day weekend.
There you go. So it is 2 weeks from today.
And you can put that on your calendar for the 26th.
Perfect.
Second weekend of June is when the rodeo is.
It's always that second
weekend in June. Yep, second weekend of June until somebody says different.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you guys so much.